Welcome back. It's the last leg of Tuesday's Daily Rundown and time to look at some of the more quirky stories that have been making the news this week. Firstly, a military dog who lost her leg on duty in Afghanistan has received a Vet Charities Medal honouring the work of animals in war. Luka, a 12-year-old German Shepherd, suffered the injuries, including the loss of a leg, during the search for an improvised explosive device, or IED, in 2012. She received the medal at a ceremony at Wellington Barracks in central London earlier today. So, yeah, that's kind of nice, isn't it? Giving a dog a medal?
I love her. Yeah. I saw her on the news today. She is gorgeous. Clipping up for a little medal. And it's quite, it's the equivalent of a,
Human.
Yeah, and she was with her owner, trainer, and he was saying she saved his life many times. She's up in the air, and they said, has she altered? Does she suffer any effects of the war or any of the things she's done? No, she's just the same without a leg. She's just great. I love it.
Fantastic. Everybody loves a nice animal story.
Yeah.
And probably up there near the top of that will be dogs.
Yeah.
And then ones that have been injured and done good things and got through. I mean, there just can't be any negative with that sort of story, can there? It's just win all round. Fantastic. Yeah. Well done, that dog.
Absolutely, yeah.
That dog has deserved her steak and a comfy bed and a walk.
She can get up on the sofa every so often.
Every night.
Anytime she wants.
She could sit here now.
Right
I'd
here.
be very happy.
That would be fine, actually.
Yeah.
Welcome back to the Daily Dog. Today we have a beagle.
It chills you out, apparently, having a dog.
Yeah, no, I can believe that. Because I'm definitely a dog person more than a cat person, I think. And having a dog, and it stopped. I was living by myself at the time, and it stopped me from going mental. It stopped me from going really, really sort of insane.
Introvert.
Developing lots of really bad habits.
Because you have to go out, you have to take them out, you have to exercise. Yep. Most important thing you do with a dog. If you do that one thing, they don't particularly need much else.
Well, food maybe, but
yeah, a little bit of food.
But only if you want to spoil them.
Take them out in a of their own.
I think there is a question here which we'll just spend a minute or two on. I mean, this is just a gesture, isn't it? The dog's not necessarily going to realise, oh, I've just won a medal.
No.
I'm aware of what that is.
I suppose that is the only downside in this. I mean, negative in it maybe is the better word, in the sense that, it's a little bit like giving a baby a present. The baby doesn't know, a baby as in a very little baby, they don't know. So if it needs whatever it is you're giving them, then that's great and you should buy the presents. But don't pretend that the baby in some way is enjoying its first birthday party or whatever it happens to be. And maybe there's an element of this which is actually it's being done for the human's benefit, which is it's not necessarily a bad thing. But
I think even dog food is made for it's made for us to go, oh, that looks quite nice.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Probably have a bit of that. I'll have a nerve
in an emergency.
I think we do. I suppose also you can't ask the dog if it's okay, if it's happy to do that. You can sort of go, yeah, she's just getting on.
It just gets trained to do
I
that.
just think it's lovely. I think it's great. And to save lives and stuff.
Absolutely.
Brilliant.
Oh no, certainly the bravery. You can't really. No disputing that.
No.
So perhaps moving on to the next story, sticking with the theme of animals, though, which with a heavy dose of mad science in this one, which is the organs of genetically modified pigs could be transplanted into humans in a groundbreaking move which is tipped to solve the organ donation crisis, or so experts believe. The breakthrough comes after a pig heart was successfully grafted into the body of a baboon, which then survived for 2 years. So, cross-species organ implants, what do we think? Plausible, scary, a good idea?
I've been out with a couple of pigs in the past, so I thought we were already doing that, is it?
Yeah.
This might be a slightly different version of the organs, but it's interesting with these sort of stories. I always think that there is, and you touch on it with when you use the word scary, just as an alternative. And we do all worry of that Frankenstein sort of what are the scientists up to now? The reality is, I'm quite convinced, is they're not allowed to do things that are going to cause that much trouble because there's lots of, controls on it. And anything that can be done to help the health of people has, within reason, got to be a good thing. So if they're properly sort of testing all this out, why not?
Good.
Why not? And it's a pity that on the other side of it, maybe we've not got our organ donation system better organised, such that you would need less of it. Or there's less need for it, should I say? Because surely again in this day and age, we should all be getting a bit more comfortable with the fact that when you're dead, your body's of no use to you, and it'd be lovely if a number of people could actually benefit from bits of it. But again, you sort of, no, I wouldn't want.
You've got to make the effort
dead.
for that. You've got to make the effort for that. You have to have your donor card and be on the registry and so forth. Whereas there's a lot of people pushing for it to be kind of an opt-out system, whereby once you're dead, it's assumed that fine, we can just take all the bits we need, unless you've specifically said not to.
I think Wales might have changed that.
Quite possibly.
I think
I thought you
Wales.
meant actual Wales.
Wales
all
have
that surgery they do.
That's right. Wales have changed that, but they couldn't get a heart into the human body very easily. I don't know how big a whale's heart is actually. Who knows?
Plus, have you any idea how much plankton a human needs to eat?
That's right. Some of us eat that already.
Carrying a donor card these days. Is that what would happen?
Get
them all on a register.
Only for surgeries, but not for food. So they're very specific about that. So.
But
clever.
Welsh whales as opposed to sea whales.
Yes.
And I think they've changed it so that it's an opt-out. So there's, and again, personally, I think that would be a great thing.
So do I. It's a much better idea.
Make it happen more. However we make it happen.
There's a very small window, though, isn't there, where they can actually take the body and
which
take
is why things
the bits that they need.
Which is why things like this are. I mean, it's certainly a valid area of exploration and research, isn't it? Because there are going to be some. Even if we adopt an opt-out system or whatever, and the whole world does. You can imagine there are still going to be some circumstances where if you had something that you could use in the meantime, that would result in more lives being saved from, an injured heart or a heart defect or whatever. So, interested to see which way it goes. But you don't want people to focus on the moralising and say, "Ooh, mad science." It's not that. There's so much regulatory sort of nonsense. So moving on to the next story, again with the animals, in fact, just 6 years ago, wildlife experts warned that there was a very real possibility that tigers would become extinct in the wild by 2022. But it would seem that tiger numbers are far more resilient than previously thought. So much so, in fact, that they could double by the time we reach the original extinction date. India and Nepal are the driving force behind the boost, a study has said, with tiger numbers rising by 61% and 31% respectively. So, conservation efforts seem to be paying off.
Fantastic.
Yeah, tigers are cool.
Tigers are cool as long as they're maybe not on the couch.
Here.
So you're not a tiger person then?
Not necessarily. No, I'm not. No, cats don't like.
I just get the feeling.
Cats generally.
No. Yeah. I just get the feeling if you had a tiger sat next to you on the sofa and had guests around, it would be a bit like Blofeld. Good evening, Mr.
Exactly.
Expected.
It'd look like that. What was that kids' book called? The Tiger That Came to Tea or something? Isn't that right? With the big tiger. Let's go down that route. Anyway, but this is great news, isn't it?
It is good.
I mean, it's very good news because there are quite rightly, more and more issues around animal species potentially or actually becoming extinct. So any particular example where the opposite's happening, it's just fantastic.
And after such a bleak prediction as well, because it's only a few years away, 2022. Whereas it looks like it's gonna
turn around.
And I bet it hasn't happened by accident. It won't have happened because of just a sort of mild attempt, a minor attempt rather, here and there. I'll bet there's been some serious things done to turn this round. So the good news is maybe it shows what can be done if actually people bother to try and do it. So, for example, stop shooting them.
Yes.
That type of thing.
That's just...
Call me old-fashioned.
Simple little things like that.
Well, that's just it. You don't just want the tigers left to be in a zoo or to be in... You want them where they should be.
On the sofa. We've established that already.
That's where we want them. No, yeah, you're absolutely right. You don't want the only examples of something to be the ones held in captivity, except for like things like smallpox or whatever, because then that definitely needs to just stay where it is. Whereas, you want to see wildlife and tigers in the wild, and the turnaround is absolutely astonishing. And I think a lot of it's to do with clamping down on poaching, basically, in India and Nepal.
Yeah.
Correct.
So it's great to see steps being taken there, and perhaps a bit of a turnaround, maybe some good news for a change. So, and sticking with something equally cheerful, perhaps, is that it's very rare to see artwork that's actually literally good enough to eat. But check out this California-based artist making 4 by 6 foot murals made entirely from jelly beans. With each piece, we're talking about 50 to 60 hours of work, and Kristen Cummings recreates delicious versions of Van Gogh's Starry Night, Johannes Vermeer's Girl with a Pearl Earring, and Da Vinci's Mona Lisa. There's Starry Night there. Jelly beans. That picture is made of jelly beans. That is...
I love it.
I know. I want that in my house.
You've been licking it.
No, it wouldn't be a picture for very long.
No, it all merged
all
together.
the blue bits would go, and then all the yellow bits.
So every time you walk past, just stealthily like, oh.
Yeah.
It's like, you'd have to only show it to your guests from a distance.
Yeah, behind a glass.
Yeah, you'd have to keep them at a certain sort of distance from it, just in case they'd a sly lick. Or worse still, bite.
Only invite people around to your house who don't like jelly beans.
That's correct.
It's like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, where everything's kind of the
wallpaper.
Eat everything and lick everything. I love that.
It's a great idea. So maybe this is a step towards that. What we want is lickable pictures.
Yeah.
Get on it, IKEA. What are you waiting for?
Exactly. No, don't mention that. They will be on it. But it's, I suppose the sort of broader aspect on it, to some extent, is it's just another example of interesting art.
Yes.
And that's a great thing, because it's...
I'm sorry to cut you off, but I have to, I'm afraid. It's the last break of the show. On that note, we do have to wrap it up. Interesting art aside. Thank you to my guests this evening, Gaye, Stephen, Penny and Billy. And I hope you'll join us tomorrow. Drew Tosh is here at the same time, but from everybody here, it's good night. Good night.